Once upon a time in Delta, in the heart of Ukwuani land, a sacred python, Ukwuani, is believed to be the spiritual guardian of the people. Legends say that harming the python brings death and destruction, while honoring it brings prosperity. But when a proud young warrior, Ikedi, defies the ancient law and kills the sacred python, he sets off a terrifying chain of events that shakes the entire kingdom. As famine, sickness, and chaos spread, Ikedi fights to undo his mistake. But betrayal, hidden truths, and the wrath of the gods make his journey far more dangerous than he ever imagined. They say the python was not just a snake, it was a god. It had been in Ukwuani for centuries, watching over the people, bringing them fortune when honored and destruction when disrespected. The elders told stories of how the python once appeared during droughts, slithering through the land, and by the next morning, the rains would fall. To the people, Ukwuani was not just a protector, it was a force of balance. Every year, a sacred festival was held in its honor. The people sang praises, offering food and gifts. To harm the python was unthinkable. It was a crime that the gods would not forgive. But in one fateful season, a warrior named Ikedi did the unthinkable. Ikedi was the son of Dyke, a respected hunter, and Adana, a woman known for her wisdom. From childhood, Ikedi had been different, strong, fearless, and hungry for greatness. While other boys feared the spirits of the forest, Ikedi ran into the dark woods with nothing but a spear. He believed in power, not superstitions. As he grew, his skill in battle became unmatched. He defended Ukwuani from raiders and was loved by the people. But despite his victories, Ikedi's heart held one weakness: pride. He despised the old traditions and the elders' warnings. He believed that strength, not spirits, ruled the world, and that pride would be his downfall. It was during the season of droughts when the tragedy began. Food was scarce and the land was dry. Ikedi, determined to prove himself yet again, entered the forbidden forest in search of game. The elders warned him, "Do not harm anything sacred." But Ikedi laughed. Deep in the forest, under the full moon, he saw it, the enormous python coiled near a fallen tree. It was unlike any snake he had ever seen. It was massive, with eyes that glowed like embers in the night. Ikedi saw it not as a god, but as a prize. With a single throw of his spear, he struck the python. It let out a deep, eerie hiss, its body twisting in pain. But before it died, its glowing eyes locked onto Ikedi's, as if it was watching him, as if it was cursing him. He carried the body back to the village, boasting of his skill. But when the elders saw what he had done, their faces turned pale. "You have killed Ukwuani," one elder whispered. "You have brought doom upon us all." That night, the sky turned black. The winds howled through the village, and a sickness began to spread. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and children fell ill. People whispered that the spirit of Ukwuani had been angered. Then came the dreams. Ikedi saw the python in his sleep, its eyes burning into his soul. It whispered to him in a language he could not understand. When he woke, his body was covered in strange marks. The people turned against him. His own father Dyke refused to speak to him. His childhood friend Obinna, who once admired him, now feared him. Even Nikem, the woman he loved, refused to see him. "You have doomed us," she told him, her voice filled with sorrow. "You must make it right." But how? The elders told him there was only one way to break the curse. He had to journey to the sacred river and beg the gods for forgiveness. But the path was dangerous, filled with spirits and vengeful ancestors. Many had entered the river's domain, and never returned. Ikedi, desperate to save his people, set out on the journey. But he was not alone. Unbeknownst to him, Obinna, his closest friend, followed him, not to help him, but to betray him. Obinna had always lived in Ikedi's shadow. He was tired of being second best. Now, with the village in turmoil, he saw an opportunity. If Ikedi never returned, Obinna could rise as the new leader. And so, as Ikedi approached the river, Obinna struck. With a swift blow, he pushed Ikedi into the waters, watching as the cursed currents pulled him under. As Ikedi was pulled beneath the river's surface, he felt an otherworldly force dragging him into the depths. But instead of drowning, he found himself in a realm of shadows and glowing spirits. The air was thick with whispers, voices of ancestors, long forgotten. A towering figure emerged from the mist. It was Ukwuani, the spirit of judgment, whose face was neither old nor young, neither man nor woman. "You have killed the sacred python, yet you seek redemption," the spirit's voice echoed. Ikedi fell to his knees. "I acted out of arrogance. I do not ask for my life, only that my people be freed from this curse." The spirits murmured among themselves. Then Ukwuani spoke. "You will not die today, Ikedi, but you will not live unchanged. The mark of the python will be upon you forever." As Ukwuani raised a staff, Ikedi felt his body tremble. His veins burned, his skin shifted, and his eyes began to glow like molten gold. "Return to the land of the living," the spirit commanded. "And remember, the gods are always watching." The villagers gathered by the river, mourning the loss of Ikedi. Even his father Dike, who had turned his back on him, could not hide his sorrow. Then a ripple disturbed the still waters. Gasps filled the air as a figure emerged, a man who was not the same man they had known. Ikedi stepped onto the shore, his body radiating a strange energy. His wounds were gone, replaced by intricate golden markings. His eyes burned with an unnatural light. The people fell back in fear. Some whispered, "He has become a spirit. He is no longer one of us." But the village elder, Ogbuefi, stepped forward. "The gods have spared you, but why?" Ikedi's voice was deep and calm, but carried power. "I have been given another chance, but the gods demand justice. The one who betrayed me must answer for his crime." All eyes turned to Obinna, who trembled under their gaze. Obinna fell to his knees, shaking. "Ikedi, my brother, I did what I had to. You would have taken all the glory." "Glory?" Ikedi's voice was like distant thunder. "You betrayed me for your own gain, and because of you, the village nearly perished." The elders gathered to decide Obinna's fate. The villagers whispered among themselves. Some demanded death, others exile. But Ikedi raised his hand. "I will not take his life. That is not my right. Let the gods decide." The people gasped. "But how?" they asked. Ogbuefi nodded solemnly. "The judgment of the python." Obinna was taken to the sacred shrine, where the python's spirit was said to dwell. He was left alone in the dark chamber. If he was innocent, the gods would spare him. If guilty, they would not. The doors closed. The village held its breath. A moment passed. Then a terrible scream echoed from within. When the doors opened, Obinna was gone. Only a trail of shed skin remained. The people bowed their heads, understanding the gods had spoken. Ikedi, now feared and revered, struggled with what he had become. Though the people honored him, he felt no joy. He was no longer just a man. He was something more, something not entirely of this world. One night, the elder Ogbuefi called him to the shrine. "The spirits have spoken, Ifo," he said. "Your journey is not yet over. Ikedi frowned. I have redeemed myself. What more must I do? Ogbuefi placed a hand on his shoulder. The python did not just punish you. It chose you. You bear the mark of Eze Nwanyị. You are now his vessel, his voice, his warrior. Ikedi felt a chill run through him. What does that mean? It means, Ogbuefi whispered, that your destiny is greater than you ever imagined. The gods have plans for you. Years passed, and Ikedi's legend grew. Though still a man, he was more than human. He aged slowly, his body remained strong, and his eyes glowed at night like the python's. Whenever trouble came to Ukwuani, raiders, sickness, famine, Ikedi was there, guided by forces beyond mortal understanding. The people no longer feared the python. They honored it, knowing that through Ikedi, its spirit still watched over them. And so, the cycle continued. The sacred python was gone, yet it was never truly gone. For as long as Ikedi walked the land, the gods remained ever watchful, and the whispers of the ancestors echoed. The gods are always watching. The story of Ikedi became a warning to all who came after. Strength without wisdom leads to destruction. Pride without respect brings ruin. And those who betray will always face justice in the end. To this day, in the land of Ukwuani, the people still honor the python. They know that its spirit watches, waiting, protecting, and punishing